to change your disc rotor is unscrew the little T, whatever they are, old rotor, a new rotor. Take your time when you're doing it because I find these tend to slip quite a lot. So just go around at a time and just fasten them down by hand gently, but make sure you keep your tool nice and level because it'll slip out. As you can see, stop the wheel from moving. Just take your time, keep it nice and straight. They're quite stiff to get in. Put some Loctite on as well, because this is what secures the disc obviously to your wheel, which obviously when you apply your brakes, that's what stops it. See, we don't want these coming loose. That one's going quite easy. As you can see, the two tend to slip out. So that's them all fastened by hand. And then the next thing you need to do, I should have said, always check the rotation. See that arrow there? Yeah, let me see. So where you, because that locks up, so that's the rotation of the wheel. And then what it'll also have on is the torque settings, which is here. So 6.2 Newton Nm for torque. So basic torque wrench, it's a T20 by the way for them, and I need to set this just above 6, but it's also very important to make sure you click these in to get the hydraulic fluid in them. About 20. Just go around. Opposites. Make sure I don't shred the T20 because they're quite firmer. That's it. So that's your new centre line, SRAM centre line, 200mm. Reason why I'm placing this one is this was bent, and at the start of the video you can see the wheel doesn't rotate freely once it's spinning. I did try straightening this, but you see a bit of a bend in it there. But yeah, it's probably just worth replacing. Gonna take opportunity where wheel's off. Just take that centre valve out and top up the tubeless stands fluid. It's always best to change it. It dries out and there's nothing worse when you get a puncture and there's no sealant to seal it. So we'll do that now. So just let the air out. These nuke-proof valves are great. You just pop them on the top like that. Lefty loosey, nice and gentle. Takes out the valve for you. Great for if you're on the trails. It's nice and gentle. That's your valve out there. Stand stuff here. I've got the syringe, which is great, which you just pop the end on to there, but I did buy that for a top up, and actually I think I'll just take the top off, fill that in, gives you the amount, take the top off, pop it in, job's a good one. It's a handy little top there, spilled a bit like you always do. So that gives you the right amount. Take the top off, pop it on the top there, just squeeze her in. That's it. I find that's quite handy, it's dead easy, but you also know you've, for 29-inch wheel, you've got enough in. So what we'll do now is carefully, not to misthread it, just pop that in and tighten. With the cap, stick it on, righty tighty, just finger tight. So as with fasten the bottom up a bit tighter when you've had it off. Just went around one rotation there. Should be good to go. Get it pumped up. That's it there, connect it up. Should pump up. Just below 20 psi. Obviously, you change the different pressures depending on your riding or your weight. A simple one for me is probably just about under 20, a bit more. Excellent. So we'll take it off and then we'll spin the wheel around just to get it slushed around the wheel. Since the rotor was bent, it's probably worth, excuse the bike's dirty, on a ride yesterday going out tomorrow, so I'll clean it later. It's probably worth changing the pads, because with the rotor being bent you probably find you might have sort of put uneven wear on the pads. So yeah, SRAM brakes, nice and easy for those who haven't really seen how to change them, but there's a little clip here that you just pop off. Just a little retainer clip. Stick that down there in the magnetic bit, and then I'll just get me box for me tools for me brakes, but it's just a little sort of T, whatever size it is, but it comes with a kit. Unscrew that and then the pads just pull out there. If you're gonna get SRAM brakes, which I like SRAM, I wasn't a big fan at first, but I love them. It's worth getting the bleed kit. I'll show you future ones. I'll make a video on that one, but it's worth getting the proper bleed kit for that. But that's the tool. Comes with the kit. You just unscrew it like that. Lefty loosey. Like these brakes are easy to bleed with a proper kit. Easy, just pulls it like that. Put that down there, put that down there. Your pads. Pads put up the top. The pads there. As I say, it's probably worth just changing them, because it might have had uneven wear when you put a new rotor on. Let's stick with some pads. Just it's worth changing. From this company online, get them on Amazon, or go direct, go to brakes. Use them quite a lot. Decent aftermarket brakes, to be fair. So we'll pop a set of them in. It's worth piston push back tool. Get it from Wiggle X Tools. Push the pistons back. And then take your pads. Pop new ones in. I was fine with this one. If you go in the back end first, drop it in like that, and pop it forward. Get the screw. Jiggle it out so it all lines up, and just pop it in like so. Take your tool, put a screw nice and righty tighty, just screw it through. Just hand tighten that, not very much. Get your little dinner clip, it looks like so, and the screw on that end. Pop it on. We'll click in. That's it. If you've got a spacer, okay, and it comes with a kit. Let's take the spacer in just to space the pads out. So it's wheel refitted. I'll push the pistons back a bit more, which wasn't on video, but as I said, just use the tool to push pistons back, fit it in. There's a bit of rub in there, which you'd expect with new pads, but it's worth resetting the caliber, which I'll show you in a second. SRAM again, big fan of SRAM. There's a little button there which holds your cage. So just push that forward and it'll click off, and it should put that all back in there. All nice as it is. Rotations, you can get that sticking a bit, but look at the wheel now, it's not stopping as abruptly as it did because the rotor is not bent as it is a new one. So what it's worth doing is taking your appropriate size tool and loosening these off. Yeah, we're going to mix that caliber of movements left to right. Yeah, and what we're going to do is we're going to spin the crank, get the wheel moving, and just nip on your rear brake. And what that does is it centers the caliber from the pads to the rotor, and with the brake applied and all centered, we're just going to nip these back up. So we're working there nicely. Tighten the bolts up, get the torque settings, torque it up properly, tighten up your through axle, correct settings, torque settings again, obviously nice and important, back wheel, don't want that coming off. But there you go guys, that's it, basically a new SRAM centerline 200mm back rotor, replacing a bent one. Redone the sealant, just to, you know, as I said, probably we have to do it every 6 months because it dries out. And might as well pop new brake pads in there because, as I said, I suspect the ones have been worn unevenly off that bent rear rotor. And we sanded up the caliper, and we should, after it gets a bit of a cleaning, it should be good to hit the trails. What I must say is it's really important that you bed your brakes in. A lot of people don't do this. I learned the hard way. If you Google it online, I'm sure there'll be numerous videos come up, but you need to ride around the estate, and you just need to be at fast walking pace, and you need to apply the brakes till they come just to a stop but don't actually stop. And you probably do that 10-20 times, and what that does is it puts an even coat of brake pad resin on your rotor. If you don't do that and you go gun-ho and just go up the trails as I did when I first got this bike, and you just apply the brakes, what it does is it applies uneven amounts of disc brake pad resin on your disc, and what happens is it gets lumps and it judders when you're braking. And I ended up buying a new rotor. These are 42 quid, 45 quid, they're not cheap. You can sand them down, but it's always bed your brakes in, front and back. But as I said, just Google it on how to bed brakes in, but a lot of people don't do that, and it's really important.